Dead end. Andrew under the weather as experts come to conclude reputation can't be restored. Royal experts have insisted the Duke of York's reputation can't be rebuilt, despite settling the sexual abuse lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre after he agreed an undisclosed deal with his accuser without admitting her accusations. Court documents filed in New York this morning revealed Prince Andrew and Mrs. Giuffre, who was previously known as Virginia Roberts, have reached a settlement in principle in the civil sex claim. However, while this has lifted a shadow from the Queen's Platinum Jubilee and will leave the royal family tremendously relieved, it will not mean a return to the fold for Andrew, royal commentators claim. Royal expert Robert Jobson told Female, "The fact that there's been a settlement doesn't necessarily mean that Andrew's reputation is rebuilt." Elsewhere, Editor-in-Chief of Majesty magazine Ingrid Seward added, "The best thing he can do is disappear for a year. He must keep a very low profile, which I am sure Prince Charles will insist upon." The Duke of York is facing a renewed call to give up one of his last remaining major titles after agreeing to settle the civil sex assault claim against him for what is widely reported to be a multi-million-pound sum. A senior palace source told Mail Online today that the compensation figure is believed to be around $10 million, £7.5 million, and the deal might only be a settlement in principle at the moment because the sale of Andrew's Swiss chalet has not yet gone through. The newspaper said the total amount to go to Ms. Giuffre and her charity exceeds £12 million, and reported that part will be paid by the Queen. Buckingham Palace has declined to comment on Tuesday's legal development, while Andrew's representatives also declined to say how the donation to Ms. Giuffre's charity would be funded. Royal finances expert and author David McClure said there is enormous public interest in the sum and the source of the funding being disclosed, telling the PA news agency, "I really think for once the royal family should come clean and say where the money came from." The source said the settlement will then likely be made when the property sale is completed, adding that he would expect Andrew to be at the Westminster Abbey service to remember the late Prince Philip on March 29. Mrs. Giuffre sued the Duke last August, alleging he sexually abused her more than 2 decades ago when she was 17, a minor under U.S. law, while the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was trafficking her. Although the parties have settled, the agreement is not an admission of guilt from Andrew and he has always strenuously denied the allegations against him. Speaking to Female about the settlement, royal expert Robert Jobson said, "I think it was inevitable. I think it's the only thing that could possibly allow Andrew to come out of this with some degree of dignity. It would have been hugely embarrassing no matter what happened, and I think that for the sake of the monarchy as well as his own personal reputation he had little choice but to settle." Last month Andrew was stripped of his honorary military titles and charitable roles after New York Judge Lewis Kaplan denied his plea to dismiss Mrs. Giuffre's case. When asked if the tentative settlement paves the way for Andrew's return to public duties, Mr. Jobson said, "I don't think in any way this leads the way back to public duty. I'm sure he'll be at the service of Thanksgiving for his father, but I really do not see him coming back into a public role going forward. Simply because I think the long-term future of the monarchy doesn't involve lots of extended members of the family, and in Prince Charles' reign I would have thought that they would be reduced anyway, naturally. But equally there's too much water under the bridge here in terms of his associations with Epstein, his association with Maxwell and his lack of judgment that has been called into question." Lack of judgment.